Well, good morning. Thank you guys for being here this morning. We are here outside of Whittier Middle School. First off, just want to reinforce that what we're going to talk about today is not a school district initiative, but I think some of the ramifications of what we're going to talk about today will certainly have impact on the kids who attend our schools. And that's why when we talked about where would be a good place to make this announcement, we thought, what we're going to talk about today really is going to impact the kids in our community. And one of the buzzwords that we've seen the last, I'm going to hang on to this because this is tipping. One of the buzzwords we hear a lot right now in the national dialogue and our local dialogue is the term equity. And when we talk about the term equity, a lot of times, these are going to go. A lot of times we talk about racial equity. But equity means a lot of things. There's economic equity, there's social equity, there's digital equity. All those are important factors in building a community that provides everyone with the same access and the same opportunities. Last night, I saw a story on CNN, and the story was, it was two kids that were sitting outside of a Taco Bell. And they're sitting outside of Taco Bell to do their homework. This was in California, and they were on the sidewalk, and someone took a picture, and this picture went viral. And it was a stark reminder that not all kids and not all people in our community have the same access to connectivity. And that seems like in 2020 that shouldn't be an issue. It still is a huge issue. Millions of people in our country and a lot of people in our own community don't have the same digital access that some of us enjoy. When we talk about that topic and we talk about improving the lives of kids and of youth and providing them the right access, one thing we rolled out earlier this year was what was called the Sioux 52 initiative to get people to mentor and help provide kids access to mentors and resources that they maybe otherwise would not have access to. Well, the same thing applies to digital. And so my background, as a lot of you know, is in technology and is in the digital world. And I'm also a dad of 3 kids. And I know that right now, I do not know how my kids would be successfully navigating school without a good, reliable, not only internet connection in their home, but also the right technology, the hardware technology, as well as the programming to teach and educate these kids how to use this technology. So equity doesn't necessarily mean giving every child the same thing, but it means giving every child what they need to do their work. And that's different for every kid. And so today we're excited to launch a digital equity initiative in our city, what we are calling IDEA. And the IDEA stands for, the DEA is the Digital Equity Alliance piece of IDEA. And we are bringing together a group of people in our community to help us with this work. And Mike Grigsby with my team is going to talk about that in a minute. But this work is not done just by the city. As we've had to do in the past, whether it's the One Sioux Falls Fund, whether it's relying on things like Sioux 52, we have to rely on community partners to help us do this. Too often people look to the government and they say, hey, government, here's the problem, fix this problem. And it is our work to identify the problems, but then we have to bring in partners and resources to help us do that work. And so to talk more about that, I'm going to ask Paige Pearson-Meyer to come up. Paige is with Midco Communications, and she's going to talk a little bit about some of the work that they're going to be doing and some of the partnership that they're going to be providing to the city of Sioux Falls with IDEA and with digital equity in our city. So Paige, come on up.
Well, good morning, and thank you for the introduction, Paul. On behalf of Midco President and CEO Pat McAdera, we're pleased to make a $50,000 gift to fund the Inclusive Digital Equity Alliance. We've been talking about this task force for nearly a year now. In those conversations with Paul and Mike and Allie, Pat and I could really feel and see the passion that they have for people and for our community as a whole. That passion matches ours at Midco, where we really believe that we are a force for good in the communities that we serve. Digital equity is about participation. It's about all people fully participating in society, democracy, and the economy. To quote Pat, "The intent of this financial investment is to look into digital equity more broadly and find solutions to address community needs at a deeper level. We're looking forward to partnering with the city and the Alliance to really dig in and do the work to solve digital equity challenges right here in Sioux Falls. Together, this task force will find out how we connect more students to education, bring jobs in the application process closer to people, and make sure folks have access to healthcare and much more. This truly is about improving people's quality of life." Thank you for your time today, and we look forward to what's next.
All right, thank you, Paige. One guy that has been really important, not only in the launch of this work, but also in helping move our city forward with smart city concepts and digital equity concepts, is a guy named Mike Grigsby. Mike is our Director of Innovation and Technology for the city. His background is in smart city work. We're lucky to have him here, and Mike's going to talk a little bit about specifically how this initial gift from Midco will help kick off the Inclusive Digital Equity Alliance. So, Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to just begin by saying thank you to Midco for their partnership. This is going to be a long drawn-out campaign. It'll go on for many, many years. But to get it off the starting blocks, we need partners like Midco. And to have that partnership with Pat and Paige and the entire Midco family, I can't understate the importance of that. When we talk about digital equity and inclusion, it's the analogy that comes to mind is a rising tide lifts all boats. And what the Digital Equity and Inclusion initiative will enhance the quality of life for so many people within our community. We're standing here right in front of Whittier School and looking at what the impacts of digital equity is for our youth. Could not have been more brought more to light during the COVID incident that we had, watching the kids not get connected to be able to do their schoolwork. So being able to have an initiative like this brought together with a number of stakeholders within the community. So our Inclusive Digital Equity Alliance, that's the IDEA task force that we'll be launching. It will be made up of government agencies, community stakeholders, nonprofit organizations, as well as citizens throughout the community. This is an important initiative to not only address the growing need that we have, but when we think about bridging the digital divide, there is so much more that is drawn into this, from a quality of life, understanding what the impact is to each and every citizen within the community. And we look back to how do we find better engagement, not only between citizens and the government, but between the government and the city. So I am excited to help launch this task force. Like I said, this is going to be an ongoing effort, but it'll be important to have that task force really focus in on what those key initiatives are going to be. The gift from Midco really helps us get started by bringing in consultants to help us lay out the framework for what that task force is going to be doing and what those key objectives are going to be early on. So this is a tremendous opportunity for the city, again, to engage with every individual and especially some of those in our most disadvantaged and vulnerable areas within the population. So I'm grateful for this opportunity, grateful again to be in Sioux Falls, and I look forward to partnering with not only Midco, but everybody that's going to be involved in this initiative. So, Mayor?
Thanks, Mike. A couple of real specifics. So this gift from Midco is simply to kick off the consultant work that Mike talked about. We don't know what the challenges are. We don't know where they exist. Are they hardware challenges, software challenges, programming challenges, access challenges? That's what this group is going to do. We have 17 or 18 different people from the community who are going to be part of this task force. People from the school district, people from different, maybe underrepresented communities that are going to help us with this work, because we don't pretend to have the answers right now, because we really don't know what those answers are. We don't even know the questions yet. So this is an important step in the city of Sioux Falls, because digital equity is a multi-million-dollar investment in any community. One of my good friends is a gentleman named Sam Liccardo. He's the mayor of San Jose. And digital equity is very important in San Jose. And they spend tens of millions of dollars annually in digital equity projects there. This is a start for us in the city of Sioux Falls to understand what those needs are. So under Mike's leadership and with the support of Midco, we're anxious to get started on this work.